You talk a lot about the people that inspire you and the people that keep you going. But I know that you also now you take on the role as a mentor because you have been doing this for long enough that you get to see like the next class of people of young people that are joining the Air Force, that are joining these missions, that are doing this for the first time, things that you've already experienced. What is your approach to mentorship? You know, now that you're at a point where it's like, okay, I might know a thing or two. What is it like being a mentor now, and what kind of things do you tell them?
Well, I definitely know at least one thing, and that's the power of mentorship. But for two
Hmm.
through infinity, I've still got a lot of learning to go.
Sure.
With my mentor activities, I find different avenues through different programs. Some of it's really
Hmm.
informal. It might be someone saw my Instagram or came across an article and they just wanted advice.
Hmm.
I've been doing a lot more of that when it comes to regard of active duty to reserve transition, or for military members who are thinking about going to graduate school full time once they leave. But through the more formal channels, I've been really grateful to be a mentor with the Civil Air Patrol,
Hmm.
being able to help guide cadets who are between the ages of 12 to 20 on their leadership journey. The Civil Air Patrol is the civilian auxiliary of the Air Force, provides a lot of opportunities for the, I believe, over 30,000 or roughly somewhere around there, number of
Hmm.
cadets as they consider going to college or to the world of work or to the military or a number of different ways to go. And at the local level, being able to talk with these young students and give them advice and go over aerospace education and the magic of flight,
Hmm.
or if they're just wanting to perhaps have another figure who can give them some additional guidance, particularly
Hmm.
those who are coming from homes that may not have a supportive environment.
Right.
There's another program called the Company Grade Officers Council. A company grade officer is a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, or captain in the Air
Hmm.
Force or Space Force, particularly. And that's a junior military officer, someone who may
Hmm.
have recently graduated from ROTC or the academy, or from being a prior enlisted member, who's maybe recently finished their university times. And a lot of times, when you're kind of a very young leader who's
Hmm.
now either flying airplanes or providing maintenance, or just learning how to develop that leadership mindset with
Hmm.
sometimes much more experienced enlisted members who you are now responsible for leading. There's a lot of benefit from being able to talk with those who have already gone through this for a while. And I became involved in the Company Grade Officers Council, the local level, our group of junior military officers, because I found out that there was a way for me as a pilot to kind of step outside of being in my green outfit, just hitting the flight line, doing
Yeah.
missions, and also get the chance to talk to other lieutenants and captains who were lawyers or doctors and nurses, finance officers, people all across the base who I wouldn't necessarily see on every day. And together we could do community work. We had a program where we had an Oktoberfest, everything
Mm.
with the German band and the
Nice.
pretzels and schnitzel. And we would use the funds raised from that to be able to send our junior enlisted, our very like
Hmm.
18 to early 20s military members home for the holidays if they didn't have
Hmm.
the money to support themselves. It's like, wow,
Mm.
this is incredible that we can get this group of young leaders together to help our enlisted force, to help the base out. So I was involved at the local level as the vice president for Barksdale Air Force Base in Shreveport slash Bossier City, Louisiana, and then helped out at the region level, which were like the Western United States, and then eventually was the executive director and national chairman for what is now the Department of the Air Force Company Grade Officers Council, supporting the over 47,000 captains and lieutenants of the Air Force and Space Force, including the Air Force Reserve and Air National Guard. When I finished that role, when I promoted to major, and now I was old and decrepit and uh, just what everything a lieutenant or captain thinks a major is. I was no longer a company grade officer. I was a field
Mm.
grade officer, and I retired from my position
Mhm.
and was really grateful that I was asked to stay on the board of advisors as chairman emeritus. And since then, over the past few years, I've had a really wonderful time being able to mentor and advise the current board at the Department of the Air Force Company Great Officers Council as they work with senior Air Force leadership and Space Force leadership to improve opportunities for uh, our lieutenants and captains, and also to around the world on deployments and in the bases, which are scattered across Europe and Asia and the Middle East and the Americas, to volunteer and give back.
Yeah, that's amazing.